And we are here. Yes, sir. Again and again.
I know. We 2 in a row. We back. We're official.
There you go. 2 in a row. That means we stamped now.
Yeah.
By the way,
Oh.
today's show is sponsored to you by Heat. You
Bro,
didn't order it, but it's right there on your porch. 1 metric ton of heat for free.
This is the heat that they like be writing about in them books where it's like you get some kind of crazy disease and the mosquitoes is extra strange.
Not the
Like they
biblical
extra
heat.
strong. Yeah, it's that biblical heat where a swarm
Yes.
about to come. I'm like,
Yes,
bro, this joint is crazy
indeed.
out here.
Woo, bruh. But that's Georgia every year. And I feel like we about to go on a run. It's usually like a week, 2 weeks, then it kind of calm down. And then once you get into June through August, nonstop 90s.
Bro, I had to DJ this past weekend and this coming up weekend. I DJ these pool parties, right?
Right.
So I have,
Shout out to you.
digital photo booth, you know what I mean? Rent that out for different events and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Bro, the
yeah.
photo booth overheated. I was recording myself DJing. The camera overheated. And I was in the shade. I said, bro, this is crazy out here. Like, it's bad. When you in the shade and it's overheating,
Yeah.
it's bad. So, hey, y'all stay cool out there. Stay hydrated. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. Yeah, in the South, the shade is a high simmer. All summer long.
Instapot.
Yeah. This is terrible. When people are like, oh, coming to Atlanta, I'm going to Atlanta this summer. I'm like,
Don't
terrible.
do it.
You go to Atlanta in the winter where you get a mild winter or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't come here in the summertime. Mosquitoes.
Oh, bro. This past week, I got tore up, dog. Between the heat, the mosquitoes, and then, I messed up too because it was an event where they was making drinks and it was so hot and I was thirsty. So I'm drinking water, but they keep giving me drinks. I'm just, bro, by the end, I felt so crazy. I'm like, bro, take me home. Send me home, bro.
Dog. Yeah, people built different here because throughout the high heat, it's still a gang of drinking going on. The hookahs is going.
Yeah, all time.
Anything involving a hot cold that's not a grill in the summertime, I'm kind of against.
I got homies that don't go out unless they got hookah. They will not go there if it ain't got a hookah.
That's wild. Like, I mess with hookah, but I haven't smoked hookah in probably like a year and some change.
Yeah, I got off of it.
Listen, my going out ratio has dramatically decreased since having a kid. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. That'll be the number one decreaser right there.
Right. So throughout the pregnancy and, of course, after the birth, it's been a long time since I've done pretty much anything. But, shout out to my boy. Man. So, want to start with some music?
Sure, let's start with some music.
Let's start. The more I hear about the Clipse album, the more I like it. I'm not going to lie.
Man, so I saw the clip where they were like previewing the song and they played a Kendrick verse.
Yeah. The controversial Kendrick verse.
Is that officially out or is that just like a leak kind of video, kind of teaser kind of thing?
I think it's the official verse on the song, but the video itself wasn't supposed to leak. Like the verse wasn't supposed to leak in that video. So what's your thoughts, man? You heard it? What's your thoughts?
The clips of it, interesting. I like it. It's like the enemy of me. What is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend or something like that. It's like,
yeah,
it's very like, dang, Kendrick is petty. He gonna find a way to take some shots and click up and
And Push ain't never stopped.
Oh yeah, Push is ready for it. So
yeah,
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it.
Beef aside, what I heard, I thought it was fire. And now that's 3 songs from this album that I've heard. I can't wait for this album. I don't anticipate a lot of albums, but this joint, I'm one of the people. I'm gonna be up at 12:01 clicking on refresh, trying to get that joint. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw. Did you see Clipse was talking about Chad and Pharrell not working together?
Nah, what'd they say?
So it was an interview, and he was basically saying like, "Yeah, we miss Chad, but that's also the homie. We see him in the grocery store, and like, it's no love lost. Like, we all still cool. You know what I mean? But they was like, oh, we're gonna miss him from the album perspective, and Pusha T is like, I mean, not really. He's like, Hell Hath No Fury is my favorite joint,
right?
And that's all for real. Jeez. So it's like he's like, so it's like, dang. But I miss when I think of the Neptunes, it's like, man, I get it though. People grow up, people, grow apart. It
Yeah.
happens. None of
Also,
my business.
what grocery store would that be? Where you can
Right.
see Chad in produce and Push at the bakery.
It's got to be a Publix. It's got to be a fancy Publix. You know what I mean?
Dog,
A pub
that's
sub.
that's a wild Publix. That's a wild Publix. But man, shout out to Chad. Is it?
Yeah,
Does anybody know what he's doing now, or
I have
if
no
he's
idea.
doing music at all now?
I think he's just family man.
I mean,
Mm.
still legacy. He got a legacy. That man is a legend. He cemented. He don't have to touch a single key or pad again, and his name will forever ring bells and have that type of legacy. So
Yeah, we
yeah,
still.
man. Shout out to them. But this Clipse album, that's 3 for 3 with me for Pharrell. So he's really in a bag that I like. The Clipse are just being the Clipse. I think this album is, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be my favorite hip hop album of the year.
No, I can see that.
Yeah.
Definitely with the rollout too. Like the rollout's been super clean. They've been on it about as far as like video teasing. I mean, I feel like when it's
Yeah.
like a video drops, like nothing is like by accident. It's like, oh, it got leaked. And it's like,
Right.
it just happened to hit all the great blogs, whatever. However it got there, I'm happy for it. You know what I mean? Like, I like the rollout,
So let me ask you this. The thing that's been the biggest thing with the rollout, other than the songs, is what Push has been saying about Travis and Ye. And I guess we'll get to that in a minute. How much of that do you think was calculated in the rollout? And how much of that do you think was just, the rollout involves a lot of interviews, and in these interviews, he was, in the specific first interview, he was asked a question, and the way he answered it made other people ask him the same question, and it became part of the rollout.
I think it's very strategic. I feel like a part of an album is like the story, right? And so it's like any good story has an enemy. So it's like, I think he's establishing the characters. It's like, yo, I'm the main character, but also I'm beefing with him over here, and this is another beef over here. That's part 2. That's gonna come later, So it's like you setting up the scenes, and then the album's gonna kind of. I feel like to me that's a good rollout, and I feel like most albums kind of have something similar. Like even with Tyler the Creator, it's like world
Yeah.
building. It's like his might be imaginary, but it's still like him building this world around his projects.
A lot of storytelling, a lot of good on point storytelling. Who's the enemy in your story? I think I know who it is. I'm just messing with you.
It used to be Reason back in the day, but we patched things up. We patched things up. We good.
Yo, is Reason on the level now?
Yeah, I think we cool. I mean, I haven't really been hearing nothing about Reason, to be honest. Seemed like Reason been on the low.
Hey, shout out to them. I think the new DAW that people are taking shots at that replaced Reason is Pro Tools. I mean, Pro Tools always took a little bit of shots, but now the Pro Tools hate has seemed to increase.
I thought you was gonna say Bitwig.
Bro, I think you, I, and 2 other people know what Bitwig is. I haven't heard anything about Bitwig.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I guarantee you've never met a person that says, yo, I use Bitwig.
You know what's crazy? The one that people are going crazy with is that Band Labs on the phone.
Yeah.
That joint is low-key kind of crazy. The stems on there, and it's got like a MIDI generator. I said, oh, this is kind of, I get it. I understand it. I understand how people could cook up on that.
Do you make beats on your phone?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm an old man when it comes to stuff like that. Certain stuff I just haven't crossed the threshold of like modernness. Like making a beat on the phone seems so weird.
Yeah. I use I'm not even gonna say I have Koala, and I've used it every now and again.
Oh yeah,
but
I remember that.
Number one, I don't have headphones with a cord on it with my phone. And when you use Bluetooth headphones, you get latency. So it's almost a wash. And I'm not playing things off the speaker. So but Koala is fire. It's really like a full-fledged joint. It got the stems. It had stems early on. It got chopping. It got, I mean, you could do stuff with like YouTube videos and get the audio, and it's fire, bro. Koala is fire, but I am not a phone beat type of guy.
Yeah, I don't like designing stuff on the phone either. I'd rather edit or design on a computer and a mouse. Something about the screen and the phone, I can't get the detail. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's like for me, and again, I see kids and they be flying through it. So I think it's just a use case thing. I'm so used to I got the tactical mouse. You know what I'm saying? I got you know what I mean?
Man, yeah, it's something. What's funny you say tactical. Even when it comes to making beats on the phone, I like that. I have to have some type of raised buttons or something. I'd rather make beats using just my laptop before I will make beats on the phone.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I don't get it. You ought to make beats on the flat surfaces. Congratulations,
Like
you're a
the iPad
psychopath,
joints.
but y'all killing it. Yeah. Now,
Fingers hurting like hell.
I almost bought a tablet the other day just to use Koala on, but I'm like, I really don't use this joint anymore. So it's one of those things like, if I get the tablet, would it make me use Koala more? Or am I just getting a tablet to use Koala for 5 days for an hour at a time and just never use it again and then just have this tablet? And that's probably what it would have ended up being. So I'm like, I'm not gonna rock with it. I'm cool.
Sounds like me playing 2K. I buy it every year. Like, yeah, it's gonna be my year. I'm gonna play 2K and then never play it. You know what I mean? I play 2 games. I'm like, why did I buy this? Every year it happens.
No, that man is done. Speaking of what happens every year I feel like we say Cardi's gonna drop an album this year. Cardi B is gonna come out with an album this year. Not this year is it. It's happening.
The
We got a
press
date.
run of her life. Whenever it's drama, it's a good time to drop an album. It's crazy,
That's a
but
fact.
I mean, it's real.
That's a fact. So yeah, she's dropping an album. I think it's been 7 years, 7 plus or something like that. It's been a minute, bro.
Oh,
it's been a minute. So she finally got a date, September 19th, I think. I feel like that date is gonna stick too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That single is actually picking up that outside. It's crazy because I hadn't really heard it and I was DJing and somebody was like, can you play that? And I'm like, I don't think this is the crowd for this right now. You know what I mean? Like, so I had to kind of, but then I keep hearing it everywhere and I've been out and they've been playing it. I'm like, okay, girls is going crazy to it. So,
okay.
You know.
Now, being a DJ, how much does this feel label manufactured, like the push for it versus just organic people wanting it?
It's about 50-50. It ain't like, you know, Wham Whammy, the song.
Yeah.
So, bro, I never forget. I heard that song maybe a couple months ago in the club, and I was so confused because every girl in the club knew the record, and they stood up, and I had never heard the record. And this is like months ago before it hit the radio. And I remember going to the DJ like, bro, what is that? He's like, watch, it's gonna be big. That one felt organic because it was one of those rare moments where I had never heard the record and it was still popping. Like, and it was like, I'm in the club all the time. I'm around it. So it's like for me not to hear the record, and I was so confused by the response. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. I've never heard this record and people going crazy like this. The Cardi joint feels like radio push, you know, blog, which I'm not mad at. I mean,
she's a superstar.
You know? Exactly.
Yeah, she's a superstar. And it's hard to gauge the organicness of it. But I mean, shout out to her. Now, what I do think is interesting is that they put WAP and Enough. I think they put those two joints on the album. They came out a while ago, but because they're on the album, they're already saying the album is like certified platinum. And
yeah, the back.
How you feel about that, bro?
Yeah, I mean they jug the system. If I had a record on the new Cardi, I would be happy. Like, oh, I'm a platinum producer, but also it's like I know that they're jugging the system. You know?
Yeah. It's kind of like manufactured platinum. I'm not mad at her because I want to see her win, especially after you know she's a sensitive artist. It's been a very long time. I feel like she might be a little bit nervous about this. I'm not sure. I don't know her, but I want to see her win. At the same time, though, I'm like, putting those songs on there was a wild play to me, and it seems like they only put them on there
as a bonus,
boost the numbers. And the fact that they did it and boosted the numbers way prior to release, I'll be honest with you, I don't like feeling that label manipulation on it, because then everything that comes after this, oh, number one album in this, or number one album in that, while it might be, it feels like it's bought.
Just like how they do with the bundles. Like with the bundles, it's like you could buy a T-shirt and then it counts as buying an album also, because it comes with a digital thing. So that's like people will sell mad stuff. Like Travis Scott is like really big on that, or Nicki Minaj. They sell a lot of bundles because people love their merch.
They was beefing about that at one point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is like, I get it, but it's part of the game. So it's like I can't be but so mad, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
not a fan, bro. I'll be honest with you, bro. I'm not a fan of that. I'm like, just put the shit out, and whatever the numbers are, dude, it's hard enough to figure out numbers now. Oh, streaming means X amount of sales, because people say sold X amount in the first week or the first month. And I'm like, what does selling even mean now?
Because ain't nobody buying the actual, nobody's spending $1 no more. It's like everybody just got a subscription to something.
Right. And some people, but you do have some people that I bought the album off of, Apple Music, or I bought the single.
That's super rare now.
Yeah, but 99% of the people just stream it, or even just watch it on YouTube. And I don't even know if YouTube, I don't even know how that works. So now the numbers, it's like the car joints. 4 out of 5 is car and driver's car of the year. I'm like, damn, every car is car and driver's car of the year? Every year?
The number one movie in America. And you're like, bro, I just seen another movie that said it's the number one movie in America.
Right. It's like a restaurant where you're like, oh, it's whatever Michelin star. I'm like, yeah, you bought that star.
Yeah. But people manufacture. Just like when I figured out how people get New York bestsellers.
Oh.
You be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But oh, go ahead.
No, I was just old man rant. I just don't like it, bro. I just don't like how everything is manufactured. So any praise or any metric of anything I hear now, I take it with more than a grain of salt. And I almost, it takes my mind a lot to say I don't believe it. I'm like, well, let me just look into it, because initially I really just don't believe it.
That makes sense. And something that, like, I feel like both of the topics we just talked about have in common, and it made me think about, is people mess up marketing wise in music by not having rollouts. Like, people think that everything is like by fluke, like, oh, we're just happening. It's like, no, this stuff is so thought out. Like, when you realize how thought out a lot of this stuff is, and how much effort it takes to do a lot of this stuff, and how some people don't do any of it and then expect a higher result, it's like crazy to me. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I was an artist, producer, whoever, I would make sure that I'm capturing content, I'm making, I'm putting stuff out. I'm like, have a way to kind of follow up with people, like build some kind of community, build some kind of email. But people don't have no kind of form of rollout. They're not thinking about any kind of prep. They're just like, yo, I'm gonna drop songs, or I'm just gonna drop beats. And it's like, who are you dropping it to?
Right.
Who are you building up? Nobody's excited about this, right? So, it's like, the way I learned marketing is like, you market like a movie. Like you do trailers, you get people excited, and then it's the big moment, right? So that's kind of how I've always learned. But I feel like people have gotten away with that from that, and it's like, I'm just gonna spam stuff and then hopefully something catches. And it's like, no, but if you look at these big artists, they're still rolling stuff out. There's still some strategy to it. Like the Clipse thing is a strategy to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All Cardi's is strategy, different strategies, different budgets. I'm sure they throwing, not saying they're not throwing a bag at the Pusha stuff, but it's more like, to me, that's a little more grassroots. Like, we just gonna put up some stuff, we're gonna get people excited.
Right.
And Cardi's like, yeah, we're gonna get this on radio pushing, we're gonna get some certain performances, but
Big
it's
money.
Rollouts. You know what I mean?
Real Jimmy Kimmel type money.
Exactly.
Also, the art of storytelling. People overlook the art of storytelling. In a rollout, there's always some type of storytelling. And if you are a good storyteller or have a good story, you're going to do well, especially if you don't have a big budget to market something.
Exactly.
I would say, to be a dope artist, just talent and authenticity, those are the two main things. To be a successful artist, if you couldn't have anything else, the two things you should have is money and relationships. You can make anything succeed, from a financial, like a commerce standpoint, if you have money and relationships.
Right.
Now,
exactly.
if you have talent and money and relationships and storytelling and all of that, those are the artists that you see really, really take off. And I feel like Cardi even has that, because when it comes to storytelling, she's great. She's a dynamic personality. But I think the system behind her is so big, it looks more like the system, but she technically has all of that.
No, she has it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you could tell the ones that do have it and don't. But I feel like even as producers, we need to look at, like, if we're dropping something, like, how do we make an impact? What's interesting about what we're doing? And that's something I've been trying to do. I'm terrible with content. I'm the person that helps everybody else with content, and then I don't do my own. This is the first time where I'm like, all right, I'm
Not
like
you.
2 weeks in. I'm only like 2 weeks in. So, if we see this in the future and I messed up, okay, whatever. But so far it's been good. And I understand, like, what's interesting, and then how do I show that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
see you. I see
if
you.
more people took that approach of, like, what is interesting, right? And what am I doing? And then showing that, and, and then how do I capture those people? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then kind of going from there.
Right. I think a lot of people feel like whatever they're doing isn't interesting.
I get that too, though, because I feel like that all the time.
Yeah. I would say in that instance, lean into your authenticity. Like, just be yourself. Just be super transparent and really be yourself. And you never know. People might rock with that. If anything, I feel like people will find that more relatable.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's most people's story. Not everybody is going somewhere doing something dope. Not everybody has a dope setup. Not everybody has a dope backstory. And not everybody has accolades. But I think just showing your face on camera and talking to people and getting people to know who you are is 99% more than most people are doing in the first place.
Exactly.
So you're going to jump the line.
It's like a personality thing. People just want other people they can hang out with. That's more important. It's like, if that person seems like a good hang, then if their beats is even okay, then it's like, that's cool. He's still funny. It's still a good person. Right. If beats is fire, then it's like, dang, it's a great combo,
Some people just win off of character and personality alone, or that's like their biggest selling thing. Prime example, I would say Jim Jones. Now that was a good one. Come on, bro. Come on. Knocking the rust off. That was
a good transition. You know what I mean? Good ISO. Good Jim ISO
Jones.
Transition.
Jim Jones has been in the media a lot lately, especially this week. But when it comes to Jim Jones, we can get into what he's been doing, but I'll say this initially. My perspective is people like Jim as a person, as a character. He's really dynamic, really colorful, really just a bold character. And that's where I think Jim wins. Now, Jim wildin' though. Jim is super wildin'.
Here's the thing, bro. I'm on record saying I'm not the biggest Nas fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on record saying I love Dipset. One of the biggest influences of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Jones, you wildin', bro. You not even in the same. It's like comparing like LeBron and then like Escalade from N1. They both are great. Don't get it wrong. Two different leagues, though. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's not the same league, bro. It's like Jim is great. I love Jim, but I love Jim for being Jim. I don't love Jim Jones for lyrical and great records.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jim, but he knows what he's doing. Prime example of some of the stuff that we're talking about in terms of marketing. Jim and he even made a post even alluding to it or talking about this. But Jim is just going to say something to get people going. Now it takes a bold personality because 50% of the people, or less than 50, are going to rock with you, and then most people are going to just call you all types of names and say you wild.
Tough skin.
But at the end of the day, if it's adding to your bottom line and you don't mind it and you're making bread off of it, who am I to criticize? However, Jim, knock it off.
Yeah.
But he's smart. Nobody Jim Jones has ever challenged. It's never even been close. Everyone he's challenged has been better than him. Styles P, we'll start there. Styles P over Jim Jones. Pusha T, come on. Let's be for real.
Don't do that.
And then Nas of all people, Jim.
Yeah, he can't do that.
Two things: knock it off and keep it up.
Yeah. Also, I'm entertained.
It's like it's really great to see, man. Shout out to Jim. Now, what I will say in terms of him actually being an MC, Jim is the most improved MC I've ever seen in rap history. when he started. Like, he was never like terrible, but nobody looked at Jim for but as time goes on, his albums have gotten way better. His
Oh yeah.
his
He figured out
lyrical
swag.
ability has gotten way better. Like, he is most improved, but even in his most improved state, still no match for anybody he's ever challenged at all.
He's also got my other favorite moment. So when Kanye was super wildin', and I'm like, oh my, like I can't. It was like a point where Kanye, where it's like, I grew up loving Kanye. He was like one of my favorite people, and then it's like when he started, I had to kind of distance myself from Kanye West related stuff. But it's that one moment where he's telling Jim Jones that he can't be his friend because he don't know how to send a PDF and an email. I said, bro, I've never related to something so much in my life, bro. Kanye was like, yeah, I cut him off because he didn't know how to attach a PDF. I said, bro, that feels like something I would do. I would be so mad at somebody if they didn't know how to attach a PDF. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jim, if he's so connected to the streets, you got young people around you every day.
Yeah.
And Jim was also right about something. The younger generation likes and recognizes Jim Jones far more than Nas.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jim is still relevant. He's still, not saying that Nas is irrelevant, but Nas caters to his fan base, which at this point, I would say 35 and over, maybe even 40 and over. To them, not to them, to us, Nas can, like, he's top 5.
Right.
When it comes to Jim Jones, probably not even top 10 on anybody's list, but still respected.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, just saying that you, whatever, just better than Nas, got more. They checked him on them numbers too, quick.
Yeah. Jim got some crazy songs too, like Ballin' is a wild song. The whole Ron Browz era of beats, that was a crazy time.
It was.
And again, I don't want to bash people's beats. Ron Browz might have the most interesting catalog of beats that I hate and I also love at the same time.
Because they jam.
They so jamming, but I hate them at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, bro, why are they so good, but also so terrible at the same time? It's like,
dog, I understand.
And it's like, I don't want to be hating on bro because he's successful, right? You know what I mean? It's like,
facts.
But like A-Rap Money, I hate it. Ether, I hate
Champagne?
it. Bro, oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Jumping out the window?
Oh, hey, bro, as a DJ, you got to understand how many times I had to play those records, bro.
So fast.
Bro, it was whole sets of that, bro.
Oh, man. Ron had you hemmed up on the ones and twos. Ron Browz was crushing your set.
3 sounds, and one of them was a crazy synth, and then
auto-tune going crazy.
Just auto-tune.
Auto-tune going crazy. Now, Jim Jones, he has, his hits are huge hits, and I know a huge hit to me because there's songs that I'm like, even if I like them in the beginning, the wrong people start to like them, and you start to hear them in the wrong places, and it just becomes corny. Like, I shouldn't be at the bar mitzvah and Ballin' is on, and everybody at the bar mitzvah is going. I'm like, see, this song should have never made it here. Like, shout out to you for making it here, but now the song is getting corny. But that's a success because the song is so big that it's crossing over into other people and other cultures. But it's like when people put on it's like seeing people wear the dirty Air Force Ones down.
Yeah.
And I'm saying people, I'm being nice. I'm saying people, but you know the people I'm talking about. You done took Air Force Ones.
Something so pristine and white and crispy.
You talking them. Get them out of there. Get it out of there. That's a Jim Jones hit to me. Now, I went to a wedding and there was a whole dance choreography, whole like movie choreography scene to Ballin'.
Not Chris Brown Forever, but to Ballin'.
Dog, it was the most cringe-worthy shit I've ever seen in my. I sat there, boy, I stared at my wife the whole time because, of course, I'm there because of her.
Of course,
I'm like,
of course. Oh, bro, as a DJ, I've seen some terrible, like walkout songs, and you're like, why did you pick this? Why? What are we doing here? Or also, weddings will be super ratchet, and you be like, bro, your grandma's right here. I'm not playing this in front of the kids. They like, no, play that. I paid for this. I'm like, all right.
Right.
Okay, what can I say?
Like, dog, you hitting your grandmother in the forehead with money?
Yeah.
What's going on at your wedding? Like, slow down. It's kids here.
I was DJing one wedding one time. I've only done a few weddings. I don't really do weddings for this very reason. But they wanted to hear. This is a cut for y'all. This is USDA, Young Jeezy, and Slick Puller. Go on, shake that. I'm gonna throw this money. Go on. I said, oh, bro, this is a different type of wedding.
What?
And grandma was right there throwing it. I said, okay, grandma.
Oh, see, yeah,
but
they from that. They from that.
They was,
yeah. Nah,
good time,
grandma know that song, bro. She know that song.
Shout out to Pearline.
Yeah. shout out to her. And also, Jim, yeah. But just to wrap it up, Jim, keep it up and knock it off.
Yeah, you're tripping, but also keep up the good work.
At the same time.
Shannon Sharp, skill.
Oh. Shannon went crazy. His intro to the going crazy. Jim, you smoke, right? Yo, when he said that, I said, oh, I know you. I know you ain't finna go where I think he finna go. And he went, did not pass go. He went directly to it.
My dog said, I'm about to paint the witness. I'm about to show you the character. Like,
right.
You drink, you smoke, you tripping, dog. Something's up with you.
Dog. But you gotta admire the confidence of Jim to say something like, basically, like you got Jim Jones on your show to get you hot.
Right.
Man. Wow. Cojones. Because you was on the pre-show, the show before you could get to the real show.
Jones.
Yo, Shannon Sharp went crazy. And he was right. I hate to say it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to Jim Jones, but Shannon Sharp was right as hell. But the one thing that, and I don't think Jim cared about any of this, but the one thing, if anything he would have felt, Shannon Sharp said, nobody in Dipset would even put you over Nas. I said, damn. Slow down, cuz.
That's not even your friends.
Whoa. Yo, mama don't even think you cute type language. Like, slow down, dog.
I saw your wife's double XL list. And she had Nas. She had Nas number 2, Jay at number 1, and you at 13.
Nah, he went crazy. Like, he went crazy. He put Jim on Mount Hushmore. Shut your ass up.
Dang.
Dog, he went crazy. Speaking of shutting up.
Oh.
Real quick. Got a little bit of schmo.
I don't know where this is going.
Got a little bit of schmo.
I have no idea where this is going.
I need for y'all to be on Mount Hushmore here. The amount of people I continue to still see say that auto-tune is AI, knock that off.
Oh my gosh.
Knock that off. I don't even listen to you at that point.
Don't.
There's never been a more false equivalent ever. And that means when I hear people say that auto-tune is AI, either you don't understand how auto-tune works or you don't understand AI, or both. But knock it off, exit the conversation. I'm going to put it to you like this. The original intent of auto-tune and AI. First thing we need to straighten out, when we're having the AI conversation in today's climate with all the controversy, we're talking about generative AI. Okay? That's very important. And when we're talking about auto-tune, we're talking about auto-tune at its foundation, what it was made and what it is. I'm going to give you an analogy. And if you don't follow this analogy, I'm not even talking to you anymore. Let's use a bowling analogy. Auto-tune is the equivalent of putting the bumpers up on the alley so your ball or your vocal doesn't go off track into the gutter. It stays in the lane. Okay. Generative AI is the equivalent of you getting a robot and training it on the best bowlers in the world and you saying bowl for me. And then when you get a 300 in this game, I just get the credit for the 300.
The real ESPN 8 vibes.
Come on, bro. Not even the same. Am I tripping?
No, that's
real. Like, come on, cut that out, bro. Yeah. Cut it out. Cut it out. All of y'all, cut it out.
Yeah, that's like that was like a compressor being AI. It's like they have AI compressors now, but not everything is like.
Right. That's why I said the original auto-tune, because people would be like, well, now auto-tune got the AI vocal cleanup. I'm like, okay, that's, once again, still not generative AI, but AI, auto-tune at its foundation is a pitch correction software. And when you tell me it's AI, that means you have zero knowledge of what generative AI really means. You just think
Yeah.
anything with electricity and a light on it is AI. Knock it off. Stop.
It's funny because it's like people who love ChatGPT, and then it's people that hate music like generative AI, but they don't understand it's a separation between like how people view generative AI. I mean, even chat is generative, but people don't look at it the same as like Mid Journey and the video. I don't know
Right.
why that is actually, because that copy is coming from somewhere too. So low key is
Yes.
all of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but people don't, for some reason, because I guess it's more helpful. People are like, yeah,
Yeah.
chat's cool. Chat's
No.
cool.
I think it
2000 is
all
the
boils
devil.
down to a personal. My bad.
Mhm.
It all boils down to your personal bias. Like for instance, the I know you saw the Erykah Badu Alchemist
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
AI controversy.
Yeah.
This is one thing that, even though I'm very conscious of AI, and I know you are too, we've been in the AI streets for
Wow.
forever. Some things happen that make me aware that I still have biases and blind spots
Oh
when it
yeah.
comes to AI. So can you break down for the people like exactly what's going on with that?
Yeah. So okay. So they Alchemist and Erykah Badu are doing a project, and they used a bunch of AI art for this project. And I'm not sure if they're doing anything musically with it. I don't think so. I think it's all
Right.
just visuals, right?
Right.
But people had a really bad backlash towards that. And then Alchemist says, I listen to music with my eyes closed, suggesting that visuals don't matter, saying that the
Mm,
visuals aren't as important. But then, which I get, and it's tricky, right? Because eventually this is gonna happen, bro. We're gonna start something's gonna happen where we stop caring as much about, is it gonna be a hit record or something? We're gonna realize it's AI, and then we're gonna be like, dang, it is
yeah, it's
jamming
jamming
though.
though.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's jamming the R. Kelly
So
style.
yeah, and so it's like our defenses are gonna go down eventually, right? But right now everybody's defenses are on high, especially with the Tim stuff and all of this. So anything that looks like AI, people are like, no, 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 no. I don't want this. And then when I think of Alchemist and Erykah Badu, again, it's not on brand. I think is
Yeah.
if who's somebody that, if they were talking about AI besides Will I Am, it's got to
I
be
was about
somebody
to say
very.
will.i.am is the number one
There's got to be
person.
somebody very, even Pharrell. I don't think people would take it as much because he's very futuristic type. If you saw Daft Punk doing an AI thing, you wouldn't think about it, right? But I think because people, when you think of Alchemist, you think of analog, you think of NPCs, you think of records, vintage, right? And the same with Erykah Badu, it's more of a organic kind of sound. I think that and AI doesn't necessarily mesh as well, you know?
Yeah, I guess. So what happened with me? I
Mm,
missed it as it was going on, and I heard
mm,
about it after the fact. Now I had heard the song, and then I heard maybe days later or the
mm.
day or two after it happened, the big controversy. They're like, "Oh, they're going at Alchemist and Erykah Badu over the AI thing," and I'm like, "Well, wait, I heard the song. First of all, the beat I know is not AI because it's a
Yeah,
classic beat. Shout out to Prodigy." And I heard her singing on it. I'm like, I don't think that was AI. My producer
right.
brain here. So once I heard that people were beefing about the visual, like the video that they put with it, and it was
Mm,
just like a black and white kind of sketch
cartoony.
cartoon, my initial gut reaction was like, okay, this is going too far. People are
Yeah.
really tripping about like, dog, it's just
Mhm.
a little cartoon. But at the same time, that's when I had to check in with myself. I'm like, see, you're in the music space, you're a producer. When it comes to the music being done with AI, you have a very strong standpoint. But now this is a visual. You're like, oh man, it's just a little black and white cartoon.
Right.
But
But
you got to
then
think. Yeah, the graphic community or
mhm.
people who ever do, they're like, no, that's a place where a person would have done that, but they used AI.
Exactly.
So I had to check my own bias at the door. Like this AI thing, it affects different communities and different careers of people. I'm tapped in with mine, but I can't be blind or
Right.
not have empathy to people in other places. So I'm like, I guess so. The same way that they probably don't care how music is generated. I didn't care
Exactly.
how the video was generated, especially since it was so minimal and like, dog, it
It's
almost looked
yeah.
like, you know, you
Like
know, how
old Tom and Jerry.
yeah, like it was
Mm.
nothing.
Mhm.
But to someone, to some community, it's something. It's a big something,
Yeah.
and it's just like us. So man, it's a
It's like,
lot of people being affected.
are you familiar with like Studio Ghibli? It's like an anime style.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
everybody started making those when chat first started popping off. Everybody started making those like style, and that dude was like, I think that he try to sue them. I feel like it was something where he did something to try to block them because it's like, bro, I worked hard for this. This is
Right.
my style,
That's
and
my whole
then
style right there.
yeah, and then y'all just coming in and copying. And it's like, dang. As someone who uses Mid Journey, someone who like, bro, I've definitely done swagger jack some art styles. You know what I mean? Like I've definitely been like
Mhm.
designed this style of art in that.
Yeah,
Then you kind of realize
yeah,
it's like, dang, I'm the pot calling the kettle black. I'm doing.
yeah.
I don't want you to do it to my music, but also I'm doing it here. So it's like that's where generative AI is so tricky because it's like I want to respect all the arts of, but also like me using it by default kind of
Dog.
it's like
Yeah,
it doesn't respect the art. So it's like,
yeah.
but if
I
I
use
don't do
chat
it, I'm
every
gonna be
day.
behind. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, like
Mm.
it's crazy. Now you know the first people that were the first to feel it and the first to raise a big stink, but nobody cared because they're kind of bigger companies. Was the news people, like
Hmm.
the Washington Post and the New
Yep.
York Times and all of that stuff, because you would just go to chat or whatever and you would get a summarized version of the news. So
Yeah.
much so that now Google uses Gemini to give you these AI summaries, and because of that, chat search web search referrals are down in
Oh
all
yeah.
areas because people just read the AI overview. Now, I will say part of where the news people shot themselves in the foot, and I think this was prior to AI, was they started putting the subscription
Oh yeah, because they
joints.
were trying to get the money. Yeah.
Right. I'm like,
Mm.
ooh, I don't know. Like, I could
Yeah.
turn on the news and see the news. You could get a newspaper and see the news. You could go to other sites and get the same story. Why would I pay you for
Yeah.
this story? But I mean, listen, I don't know your business. You got to make your money. You got to do what you do. But that didn't help
Yeah.
them at
Yeah.
all. But and
And
nobody
yeah.
cared, or at least it didn't hit us. It wasn't close enough to home when it happened.
And also, I'm not turning off my pop up blocker. Come on, gang. We know that's not happening. Why?
Come
Why?
on now.
Why are we even talking about this right now? You got 28 little cookies and trackers trying to hit my Chrome right now. I'm not turning that off, bro. Pop up block is there for a reason. But come on, bro. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, I want to read the article, but also I don't care
Right.
that much.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
not at all. And now they didn't show people how to use the inspector. Come on.
Come on now.
I didn't want to say anything
But
about that, but it's kind of out there. Now
come
you
on, you know
using
we know a little web development. We know a little HTML. We know how to get. You know what I
it.
mean? Little right
Inspector
clicky.
Gadget.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm tapped
Man,
in.
no, we getting what? Click subscribe. Man, I'm getting that out of here. F12. Let me show you what F12 is about.
But
But
yeah, no, AI
it's
has definitely been.
yeah, it's messed up. Kind of in the same vein, and I guess I'm going to speak for this may be a poor person's what some would call a poor person's perspective, but I'm here to say it. I'm somebody who does not pay for YouTube. Now, let me tell you.
Oh no, you're cursing at me here. You talking
Oh,
about premium?
this has nothing
Oh,
to do with you. I already know you're on that side. And for the longest time, I'm like, all right, I'm probably gonna just go ahead and pay for
mm,
YouTube. This is prior to me having a son. Then I start thinking about it more and more and more. But now, fam, they first of all, Chrome stopped using for some reason had to stop using a certain model. So uBlock
mm,
Origin, which is what most people use to block ads and all that stuff.
you're
You didn't
right.
get ads with YouTube. So that's another reason why forever I was like, what's the point?
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. What's the point? So they stopped that. I'm like, all right, YouTube with ads, but I don't use YouTube enough for that to matter. YouTube, I'm looking at you. Y'all been wilding lately. YouTube, you can't convince me, is not doing a stress test on all of its viewers. YouTube is now showing, I kid you not, 3 to 4 unskippable videos in a row.
Oh yeah, that ain't gonna get you.
It used to be one video you could skip,
And it'd be a
two
short
videos
one.
you could skip. Yeah. Or maybe, one short unskippable and then one you could skip. Dog, 3 to 4 just completely unskippable videos. They have to be doing a stress test. And
Bruh.
I it's two reasons, and you tell me what you think. I'm like, it's either to just test out the people to see how far they can go before people just do something, or is to annoy you into purchasing the model.
Oh, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's like, yeah, because the more ads they show, the more revenue they make anyway. So it's like,
Yeah. So the feeling I had was like, now I'm so annoyed and mad at you. I know it's on me. I already know that I'm like, I don't want to pay for this now where I was just about to. I damn sure don't want to. I started to feel like I was in my own space. So I just, you got to hit Reddit every now and again, see what the Reddit community is talking about. And people also feel like that. I know I should pay for it. I'm going to ask you as a premium person. I could probably look this up, but now I got YouTube. If I want to pay for it, now I got my son. And that's the thing. Every now and again, y'all want him learning Spanish and his math and all of that good type of stuff. So I would buy it for that. But at the same time, that's not the same account as my YouTube account. So now I have to purchase 2 premium accounts.
You get the family package.
Okay, see,
that's
I knew
what
I was talking to the right person.
See, look, let me put you on game. So this is what you do. You get the family. You get YouTube Music for the free ski, and you get premium, right? So
don't really care about YouTube Music.
So see, that's how it was. But then I got off Spotify because Spotify was tripping over some stuff. So I got off Spotify. I went to YouTube Music. Low key is kind of a vibe because they got some of the mixtape stuff that Spotify don't got. Some of the stuff where it's like you can't really find, you can add that. So that's kind of why I like YouTube Music a little bit, right?
Okay.
Dog, one time I had lost my card, so I got like a new card, and my premium was on my old card. So they like, when you forget to pay it or whatever, it's like you gotta add a new card, or whatever.
Right.
My daughter was like, "Dad, something's wrong with the TV. It keeps playing this because we don't watch cable TV, right? So bro, I haven't had cable TV in probably 10 years, bro. So I've only watched the internet. So I only really watch YouTube. And so I've had premium this whole time. So she doesn't understand the concept of commercials at all. So when she saw a commercial, she's like, "Yo, something's wrong with the TV, Dad. Like, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, my child is spoiled, and also I need my premium ASAP because what is this commercial do? I can't do it, bro. It's so annoying, bro.
It used to not be that bad. Now
it's so annoying.
It's Georgia mosquito in the summertime annoying.
I can't. That's the one thing I gotta have. Chat GPT and premium, bro. I could be down on my luck, but we gonna figure out them too. We figuring them out.
Yeah, I'm gonna shake a cup for the Chat GPT money if I got to. Yeah.
If I gotta turn into a YN and sell some waters, you know what I mean?
Yo, they wilding too.
Oh yeah.
You hear about the joint where they gave one of them the phone to put the cash app joint and they took $1,100.
Bruh, you're an idiot. If you give them kids your phone, you're an idiot.
I guarantee you that kid had a shiesty on and it was like at least 87 degrees.
Sir. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm not suspicious at all. Could I interest you in a cold beverage?
It's 90 degrees and I'm wearing a hoodie with the hood up. But hey, let me get your phone real quick for this financial app.
All your friends are already taking off running. I don't know why.
Where your friends going?
Yeah. They were just over here.
Did you put your cash app in yet? You need to go catch your friends. Yeah. It's sad because she was saying she had just got laid off. So that kind of sucked.
Hey.
Yeah, that sucked.
The other dude you got to watch out in Atlanta is the parking. There'd be the QR code.
Oh.
So what they do, they put a fake
stickers on there.
Yeah, they put a fake sticker on it, and you scan the QR code. It takes you to a fake website. You pay for parking. You done pay somebody random. Jeez. I had $30 for the nothing.
Jeez. Speaking of parking scams, I guess we are the community watch segment. iPhone users. Did you hear about the iPhone user message scam?
Oh, which one?
With the DMV?
Bro, you know why I realized they're so stupid? So I have an LA number. Mm-hmm. And so mine's always says, you have a ticket in LA for speeding or something. I'm like, bro, I haven't lived in LA in 5 years. Like, bro, so I know all of mine's are fake because they say it like I live in California because they can't tell. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is how I know y'all fake. Get out of here.
I imagine they getting like a lot of older people.
Oh yeah, they jigging.
So yeah. I'm like, everybody tell your older family members because you can see a text about something like that. You're like, DMV ain't finna text me.
Right.
But older people, they probably don't know. They're like, oh, I don't want to lose my license, and they hitting
$30. Let me just pay this.
Yeah. Wait, before we move on, have you seen The Beekeeper, the movie?
No. What is that?
It's a Jason Statham movie. Yeah, it's a regular type of Jason. A better Jason Statham movie, but still quintessential Jason Statham movie nonetheless. Anyway, the point is he goes, of course, he's avenging something, and he goes on to kill everybody till he gets to the boss. But the
You
thing
killed the
that
queen
sets
bee.
right. It's a lot of bee references in there.
Okay.
Oh man, Aquila and the bee.
This
oh,
is a
that bee.
sticky situation.
Honey, I'm home. That type. That's not in there, but it should have been. But the thing that sets this whole revenge thing off is a scam pulled on an older person where all of their finances got wiped out. And of course, the older person was someone that looked out for him because he had a past, and they let him lease a barn on their land so he could raise his bees or whatever. And I love you. You're the only person that ever looked out for me. So
the revenge.
I'm giving away the premise of the movie. I'm not spoiling the movie, but an old lady gets scammed out of all of her money and then kills herself. Like immediately, though. That was the movie's full of plot holes. Kills herself immediately instead of like consulting somebody about it. She's like, nah, I just kill myself.
You don't want to file bankruptcy, man? You don't want to talk to a financial consultant?
You don't want to talk to your daughter who's like a high-ranking police chief?
Yeah, let the case kind of, yeah.
But I thought it was funny because we were talking about that. And the older person in the movie, Felicia Rashad.
Wait, not Cosby Show, Felicia.
Claire Huxtable.
Not Teedra Moses lookalike.
Facts. Jason Statham went all out. It kicked a whole bunch of ass for Claire Huxtable. I thought that was endearing. So
I mean, I see the vision now. I see the vision.
There's a fictional older person you would fight for. It's Claire Huxtable.
Yeah, the vision's a lot more clear now. I understand it, Jason. I see what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the plays. You know?
I'm a beekeeper. I bet you are, because
that's my honey. So I'll be back.
Revenge is so sweet.
And after that, it's gonna get sticky. That's fine.
That's a fact. Yeah. So shout out to Claire Huxtable. You don't have to go out like that.
Yeah, not Claire.
No, I got a question though. I got a question that I feel like, okay, let me rephrase this. I have a question that I feel us as producers need to ask ourselves every now and again, because we've all either been there or are there and have always been this person or just never thought about it. And that question is, are you producing or are you just collecting sounds and plugins? I'm like, really? Ask yourself that. And to me, the input, which is what you get more sounds, you get more plugins, you get this. How does that correlate to the output? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people will look and realize they get more and more stuff, however you get it, and probably put out less and less things.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need the 2 terabytes of contact plugins. Like the library, you don't need that. Maybe one. One will suffice.
Yeah. Or if you just like getting new stuff, which let's face it, we all like getting new shiny things.
Of course.
At least somehow make that motivate you to output more or to use it more. I think a lot of producers, I'll say a lot of us, because we are producers, whether we're there now or have been there at some point, are collecting a lot of sounds and a lot of plugins. And the output is going down. Or if anything, it's not going up. It's not like when you get new things, you all of a sudden are pumping out more and more output or higher quality output. You just have more things to toil around with.
Sometimes that messes me up. Sometimes when I have too many options, I get distracted. And so people ask me why I stopped using Ableton. It's because I would get distracted. And it's just a me thing, right? Like I'm very like ADHD at times. Like
watch your mouth, buddy.
You know, I work on 5 things at a time. And Ableton gave me so many flexibility that I would get lost in like making a button versus like just making a beat. I would spend so much time making macro and I would just get lost in doing other stuff. Fruity Loops is like, boom, I'm here. You know what I mean? It's straight to the point. And you know, I think finding that balance and making sure you like have it clear, it's kind of important. You know what I mean? And like having a good workflow.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think we need to be a little more cognizant of the amount of stuff we get versus
Right.
the amount of stuff that we output. Because
Yeah,
the
that's true.
problem with producers, one of the biggest problems with producers is our output. It's not enough. It's not. We don't finish enough beats. We don't make enough content, which is necessary now. We don't make enough connections now. All of that stuff. The goal hasn't changed to be successful, to make a living off your music, but the rules have changed, and I feel like just input and output has changed.
Yeah.
Um,
You know it's crazy. I had a older MacBook, right? And it was going out. It was time for me to switch. And I had been putting it off. My logic board goes out. And I had the opportunity to back up my computer for when I got a new one to back up from my old one. And I decided not to because I had all these old plugins, bro, that I wasn't using. It was all the
mhm.
stuff that I didn't want to drag to a new computer. Even though I had plenty of space, it's like I done had the same backup from 20, like, you know what I'm saying? Since you could
Yeah,
time machine, I've had the same backup for years and years. I'm like, bro, it makes no sense. Let me just start clean. So
yeah,
I got everything so I can open stuff back up. But all that other stuff that I wasn't using, I didn't want to bring it over because it's like it's pointless. And it's like, so now I'm like trying to start clean, a little more minimal of what plugins I'm using and kind of focus on a few couple ones
yeah,
and then kind of vibe like that. And to me, it's been working out good. I feel more inspired having just a couple of them working with and limited it to that versus having every option in the world. And I'm just clicking around trying to find the perfect sound. You know what I mean?
no, you're right.
Mm.
Getting a new computer is one of the most liberating and freeing
Oh
things
man.
ever. Once you learn, the first computer you get, when you learn, like, oh, let me only put the things I actually use on here. And then if other things I feel like I need them, then I could put them on here. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised at just the little handful of things that you actually use. I think
Yeah.
I used to say it on the last show. One of my older computers, before I started getting new computers like that, um 700, oh, like 718 plugins. Dog,
Hey.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
My boy had the
Ridiculous.
Waves Mercury, Jupiter.
What? I didn't have the Waves
U.S. Space Station.
I had the Waves warehouse on it.
Right. My dog had
Waves
the
Mall of
straight from the
America.
source.
Yeah. Mall of America. And also at that time, I was working with Polo, and Polo had all the plugins I got. If I would get something, I would just also get the same thing for him. So his computer, I think it was his first Nico, 700 something
Oh, it's
plugins on it.
crazy.
Outrageous, bro. The plugin management, number one, was just wow. You go to hit that little drop down, and that joint just
Oh
take up the whole
yeah.
screen with more drop downs though.
You just would probably have to spend time just favoriting stuff and trying to organize that. Dang, that's crazy.
Man,
That's the part
it
where
was
people don't talk
terrible.
about producing either. I spend so much time now just sitting and favoriting and going through
Yeah,
because it's like when I make beats, I just want to focus. But when I try to
yeah,
do both, it's not good. I end up getting distracted. So I had to
yeah,
spend days where I'm just vibing, picking sounds. Maybe I'll start an idea, but it's like my intention is to just organize. And then I have days where
yeah,
I'm just cooking up, and then there's
yeah.
days that I'm just finishing stuff now. It's like, all right,
Yes.
I'm gonna try to just knock out and arrange all these beats and then save them out and shop them out.
The organization, sound design, if you do that, and beat making should all be done on separate days and should all be done intentionally.
Yep.
To me, I'm not gonna go in and waste a whole bunch of time, but in a nutshell, I have a system for sound. You set up a go-to folder for each type of sound. Let's say drums, kick snares, blah 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 blah. In each go-to folder, no more than let's say 20 to 30 favorites from everything. And then I revisit every 6 months. You can revisit every year, and you put new stuff in there. But the caveat is, for every new thing you put in there, you have to take something out.
Yep.
So
I
that folder maintains the same number all the time. You get a snapshot of your taste, and it just allows you to waste less time searching for sounds and going through everything you got.
because you know
It's a
everything
longer
gonna hit.
explanation to that system. Maybe I'll get into it one day, but yeah, that's important, bro. Organization and favoring is very important.
Yeah. It's like DJing. It's like the prep work is the main part. Like if you a good DJ preps well because they know what hit songs are gonna translate. And it's like with production, you need to know what sounds are gonna translate especially if you got the artist in the room. I would
That's
always see
it.
people make beats in front of people, and those people that are great at it, they're really good at prepping for those. Like, people don't realize they're coming in with ideas. They already got a loop or something. They already like something's already there where they like, all right, I can build off these pockets here.
Yeah. Or you got go-tos already where you, even if you're working off the fly on the fly, you have a go-to everything. So you
I know
don't
this
have to.
preset's gonna hit. I know this, this 808's gonna hit.
Right. These 10 808s right here, I got something that's gonna fit every situation. With kicks are the easiest.
Yeah.
I got these go-to kicks, go-to snares. It will save you so much time. And if you've ever been in a high pressure, really fast environment of like a studio setting working on something major, that is an invaluable skill. I'm happy I had it, just because I'm OCD with the arranging and organizing. But once I got thrown into those situations, what a lot of people said about me was like, he's fast. He works fast. Like, he'll just make a beat and make 5 beats and 5 ideas in 10 minutes. And then we could work like that. But that's just comes from prep. I'm 90% prep, 10%, performance or whatever. Dog. Hold on. I feel like I had a related to. Oh, I did. I think this is more smoke. More smoke. Or maybe even a hot take. My hot take is 50% of gatekeepers need to be brought back. I think I said it on the last show, but I'm here to double down on that. 50% of gatekeepers need to be brought back. Now, I'm explaining what I mean as fast as I can, but I want to say not all gatekeepers are people and not all gatekeepers are bad. For instance, I'll give you one example. You used to have to pay for studio time in order to make a song. There was no way around that. So, in paying for studio time, number one, you had equipment. Everything cost like $1,000 back in the day. I don't know about you, but as a kid, I had to figure out how to get $1,000. Number one. That taught me a lot.
That was like a whole thing.
Right. So that taught me a whole lot. So now you get this. Everyone wanted to go to the studio. When you go to the studio, no one went to a studio to make a beat. You had to make a song. Therefore, I had to build up relationships. Either you go places where artists are, you had to put your feet on the ground, or you and your homeboy, y'all worked it out and he was the artist, you were the producer. Whatever. So that's one gatekeeper alone, because now you can get anything to make music for little to no cost. Some people for nothing. Some people is very low cost because it's high competition. But you go to the studio. Now, you usually got 4 hours of studio time. If you were young, didn't have a bunch of bread, 4 hours was usually the average that you get. In that 4 hours, you're going to try to make as many quality songs as possible. Usually it's 1 or 2. To do that, you had to go in with your, let's say for me, MPC. The beats had to be in song mode. I argue that not a lot of people even touch the song mode on an MPC, because in order to put your beats in song mode, that means the beats had to be finished. They had to have different parts. So just the fact that you're paying for studio time and you have a limited amount of time means that you had to finish beats to even get to this point. And you got to track out the beat. The person got to sing, got to rap, whatever they got to do. Those 2 things, gatekeepers alone. But what I'm saying is, if certain gatekeepers were brought back for certain people, the gatekeepers that need to be brought back should depend on the person. If you had to pay for studio time, you would have to get songs done. You would have to find an artist and you would have to finish beats. With no gatekeepers comes no discipline for the undisciplined person, which means you can toil around for 15, 30 minutes a day for your lifetime and never finish a beat, because you don't have to. There's no investment, no financial investment, little to no effort needed. Now, the thing is, the goal people had back then versus the goal people have now did not change. To be successful in music, maybe notoriety, and to make money and live comfortably off of your music. That never changes. Just the barrier to entry for so much stuff is so low. It's like a ladder. You see somebody way up on a ladder, you're like, man, I got to do a lot to climb up that ladder. Now, people just got to get to the first rung of the ladder.
ChatGPT, how do I do this?
Right. We're all on the even playing field, just
Right.
going up one rung. And the fear of, not to get back into generative AI, would be now I don't even have to know music. I could just say, make me a
Right.
thing. So now we on the ground. You ain't even got to put a foot on the ladder to be on the same ground.
Yeah,
But
it's like
I'm
this
saying,
guy spent his whole life learning guitar, but I can
right,
prompt the same thing in 2 seconds.
right.
It's like, yeah, it takes away.
A lot of gatekeepers need to be brought back because people don't have the discipline to develop the muscles or the skills that they need
Yeah.
to achieve the goal that they say that they want. The way life is now, we are comfortable as hell and we could just flop around and hobby ourselves to death and never finish anything,
Right.
never progress, never be successful, but always feel busy. And that has to stop. So if you're honest with yourself, you could probably think of 2 or 3 gatekeepers that you need in your life just to
Bring
get
him
you to
back.
where you say you really want to go.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah. So
No, that's real.
that was my rant with the gatekeepers, man. Bring them back. Bring them back.
Bring him back. Speaking of gatekeepers, Timbaland Gate. It's another
That's a gate that the gate won't close.
man. So, oh man, where do we go? Okay, so Timbaland, I believe K Fresh and his lawyer made a statement,
They did.
and they had some demands, for Tim. Basically asking to get the data deleted, prove certain things about how data was going to be destroyed, and going forward making changes, which I don't think they could fulfill.
Impossible.
It's impossible to show any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that,
Impossible.
to me, that screams you're gonna get sued.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and then Timbaland issues an apology.
Yeah. That was the only thing on that list that was possible to do within the 24 hours they allotted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He issued an apology, but I don't think, again, I think it's a little bit too little too late.
Yeah.
I think it's, so I do think a lawsuit is coming, allegedly, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. But and I think they have a pretty solid case. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry of violation. I don't know how far that would take. I don't know the legal, how much money that is and all that, but it is, to me, a pretty clear violation of terms of services, and I'm sure some kind of copyright violation there, and pain and suffering. It's all kinds of little.
It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot, bro. And it could turn into a class action joint. And I actually saw
Yeah.
somebody that's doing a class action. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Lady's doing a class action, bro. The amount of just oversight and mismanagement to this rollout on both sides, being not only Tim's side but also the company side, staggering. A lot of lessons can be learned from this, bro. It's like I said in the last pod, just way too aggressive, bro. Way too aggressive. So how'd you feel about the apology?
I mean, he had to do it. I feel like he had to do it, but I don't feel like it made anything better. It doesn't really explain anything. It doesn't really, because it's like it doesn't. It's such a stupid thing that he did. It's just like one of those things that even trying to explain it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's just like one of those things like, come on, bro, you got to do better than this, bro. You got to move a little bit smoother than that.
Yeah.
So,
dog, I would also like to say, I think at this point, Tim should stop talking about it if he hasn't already, and the company has to start. The company has to start talking because I feel like Tim is in over his head. This is a very technical space, and it's gotten down to the details of the technicals. It's time for Tim to not talk about this anymore. And the company, who has made the CEO with his major infraction of saying people don't want to produce music, which was super tone deaf. At least he just said that and kind of disappeared. Whereas Tim just kept doubling down with bad explanations and even worse actions. But now it's time for the company because at this point, okay, Tim could take so many bullets with this, but he is a representative of that company. Now, don't let it be so focused on Tim. He's done his fair share of wrong, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
But
there.
No, they got to step up,
bruh. As a company, okay. Now, even if you, without the CEO's remarks, even if you say everything Tim did is the reason for all of this bad press and bad this and bad that. It's still your company.
Right.
What are you doing? What are you saying? You don't seem to be doing or saying much.
Bro.
You're looking worse and worse and worse because
Yeah.
this man is out here getting pummeled.
What makes it bad is like I seen a clip where they was like, "Oh, or is this being trained by this?" And he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't work like that." And it's like
Right.
he doesn't understand how this works. So
That's what I'm saying.
he doesn't need to be talking for you because he doesn't understand the technical jargon of which
right.
it's like I get it. Like it's AI, it's new, right? So it's kind of difficult to understand and explain. But in this situation where you're facing lawsuits and public scrutiny and all this stuff, like you need somebody out there to be like, "Hey, no, Tim, I got you. So this is how this works, right?"
There you go.
And explain that to people. But I feel like he keeps kicking the can further down the road of confusion because he doesn't know how to accurately describe what's going on. And then people are asking questions, rightfully so.
He's
And
in
then
over his head with these
yeah,
questions. But he cannot explain the technical aspects.
yeah, it's
When he
crazy.
couldn't when he kind of seemed to not grasp the aspect of how an AI is trained.
Mhm.
That should have been a red flag to the company to hit him up like, okay, stop.
All right, here's some bullet points.
Yeah,
Here's
something.
something.
No, they let him keep going out there and just showing that he kind of that's not his avenue. But yeah, he's
Right.
fielding these types of questions. And then once he got quote unquote caught doing something and violating the very terms and services that you have to click on every time you upload something. Once again, as the company, you got to be like, dog,
Right.
stop. Let's just Homer Simpson back into the bushes.
And I
Get
think
ready.
the big thing with like a lot of big corporations, they're afraid to admit they're wrong. And I feel like brands are like a clone of a person. Like when you're making a brand, you're making almost like a person. When you think of Coca-Cola, you're making an avatar, right? Does that make
Mhm.
sense? What I'm
It
saying?
does. It
Yeah.
does. They're building a sleazy person right now.
Yeah, so they're making the person look like a scumbag, like he about to rip somebody off instead of like saying, "Hey, my brand is like, yo, we kind of messed up. This is a new territory. We're trying to figure it out." If they came with that approach, I'm like, you know what? It is new. They are trying. This is totally new. But instead of not saying anything or being
Right.
letting people be confused, it kind of lets us pick the narrative. And people are going to pick the worst possible, especially after you gave them the ammo to pick the worst possible things, you know?
There you go. And yeah, what's wrong with saying, my bad, I made a mistake?
Mm,
He might have kind of alluded to that in that apology, but that, like you said, a little too little, too late. And you're not you needed to make an apology, but you needed to make an apology that was a little bit more personal to what you did, and the company itself needs to make its own apology and a roadmap for moving further, because this will be the prototype or the muse for other things that are
right.
to come, because this is still in its infancy in terms of generative AI. And we were talking about in the last pod is that if some type of regulation or at least some messaging of use responsibly is not integrated into this, or some type of shame into doing something like taking somebody's whole work and doing whatever
Mm,
with it, if that stigma is and that stench is not put on stuff, it gives the people who are probably just needed a reason to misuse it a green light to just go crazy.
you're
And then the
right.
next thing that comes out, the behavior of acting like that is already in the community, and people just gonna go crazy with it. And it's, man, lawsuits everywhere, just the wild, wild west. Jobs being lost of whatever. Just everything that people feared or everything that could go wrong is going to go wrong exponentially because these proper things weren't done in the beginning. And once again, just a complete mismanagement and oversight of how this should have went. No education,
Yeah.
no responsible messaging, violations from the very people that are pushing it, trolling of the people that they're selling it to. I mean, bro, if there was a playbook for what you could do wrong here, they checked off every single
Yeah. They're
box.
going to Super Bowl for that one. Bruh.
Going to the Super Bowl for that is crazy.
So in the comments, it was a lot of like people were really against Tim. And then my homeboy was like, yo, only producers feel this way about Tim sonically. Like, people are not going to appreciate it as much. But I think what people got to realize is Tim's core audience lately has been producers.
Yes.
Tim's
Yes.
audience isn't really selling beats and like making hits. His business model is selling to producers. So
Because
that's
he
why I think,
positioned himself as a head of the community type deal.
yeah, so it's like, that's why I think he messed up. I think if he was just making records and this happened and stuff like that, it wouldn't be such a big blow. But I think because he's
Right.
positioned himself as, I'm gonna be a hub for the producer community, and then
Right.
you kind of fumbled that relationship. Now the people who supported you are kind of like looking at you crazy. So it's like, dang, like your main support base is kind of on the
Yeah.
rocks right now, you know?
Because there were previous fumblings of that
Mhm.
relationship prior to this, and with this being the biggest one, prior to this, it was 3 or 4 other infractions. And yeah, at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you might just be left with a pool of get-wits.
Not the get wits.
That was an
Not the
old
get
school phrase, right?
Damn, not the get wits.
No, I'm dead. Now the get-wits, they got money. They'll
Right.
support whatever you're doing, but is that what you really want?
And
I don't think so.
I feel like all his business models is gonna be like, because now with the live streams, I feel like everybody's gonna second guess doing the playing music for him. You know, it's like, it's such a, why? Why did we even have to get here, bro? You know what I mean? So
What a mismatch. Speaking of which,
yeah.
you actually brought up something. Since we back, shout out to old alumni, young Av
Mhm.
Brow.
Hey.
Ab Brow hit me with a question, just a hypothetical question. Not as it was something he was going through, but a hypothetical question, and it's a good question. Do you think that producers have even more fear now of posting and sharing their stuff because of the AI climate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even think people realized it until that moment. And then people like, oh, I could get got real bad.
right. And that's exactly what I said to him. I was like, you know what? It's funny. I didn't even think
Mhm.
about that because when it comes to posting and sharing and all that, that's already like one of the biggest problems that the producer
Mhm.
community has. So I feel like this is just another thing that may
Mhm.
keep them from posting, but it's a really big thing. So
Yeah.
I had to say yes, but I want to know what you thought
No,
about it.
I think it's a legit thing. And it's crazy, bro, because it's always been a thing, right? Bro, I never forget. It's a producer and he's had some records. And I remember somebody called me and said, yo, he's on this show. I was about to say what show it was. Ooh, I was about to say what show it was. He's on
Mm.
this show and he played this beat and it's a copy of your beat because you played this beat for me and I remember it, right?
Wait, it was a copy of my beat?
It was a bruh, no, so I made this beat and I played it for one of my homies. And then the
Oh,
dude
you made it.
went,
Okay.
yeah, and the dude went and copied it and then played it for this TV show, a reality TV show. And so I had to check him on, like, bro, you copied my, and he admitted, like, bro, like I heard it was jamming. It was literally like a copy of my beat. And I remember being so mad about this. And the only way I would have figured it out is because my homie heard it and it happened to know. Now that you could just run this thing through the AI and there's no kind of safeguards, bro, you know how many people about to be finessing all kinds of.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like it's tricky because there's always bad apples that are gonna take advantage of something, and they're looking for a check
Right.
instead of
Right.
how do we use this to help. It's always gonna be the people that's looking at it like, how do I exploit it? And
The
then
100%.
yeah, and then since I know that, it's like it does kind of be like, damn, I'm kind of skeptical on uploading certain stuff, you know?
Makes sense. And it's funny because there are those people that are just going to be bad actors off the
Hmm.
rip. They just can't wait to grossly misuse this thing. But the next tier of people are the people will say that they really want success. They haven't found it. They might be struggling a little bit and they're on the fence. Like I could act in ethically and steal some shit or I could get better. And
Hmm.
when you see other people like might as well do it and then you see let's say a hero of yours seemingly do it you're like oh well I'm kind of and those are the
Exactly.
people. I'm not even concerned with the people that are just going to misuse this off the top, but that's where if I say you come in with the use responsibly or put some type of stench or
Right.
scarlet letter
Set
type
the
thing on
culture.
them doing that, yeah, then that kind of
Yeah.
it's like having the ADT sign outside of your house.
Yeah, it ain't gonna
It might
stop
stop a
nobody.
few. It might stop one or two out of 20.
Yeah. It don't do nothing, but it do something.
Exactly. It shows responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this has been no responsibility. But I think that was a
Yeah.
great question that Eyebrow brought up, and I didn't even think
So,
about it. And I'm
mhm.
like, yeah, bro. Yeah, like I think that's just another reason for producers to fear posting their stuff.
I do feel like I don't want to go down this road. We can talk about this one day. People ask like, why did I kind of disappear from music? And make a long story short, is I saw. Remember, bro, I would talk about this. I saw AI, and I figured what it was gonna do, and it kind of deterred me from doing music because I'm like, bro, it's gonna be an issue.
Yeah, we talked about it. I remember
Bro,
you talking about that.
I'm like, bro, this is gonna be an issue. I knew it, and this
Yeah,
is 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like,
yeah,
yo, it's gonna be an issue, and I hate that I was right about that. Like my homeboy called me the other day. He said, bro, you was right. He said you kept saying this, and you were right about it. And I was like, dang, bro, I hate that I was right about it. But when I seen, bro, I remember I seen the Google, I forgot what it was called at the time, but it was the Google Music thing, where they build Suno and all of that off of now,
mm-hmm.
right? And it
Yeah.
was super hard to use. You had to use this thing called Notebook. You had to be able to code. It was
I keep wanting to
very,
say llama, but I'm thinking of something else. I don't think
can't
it was
remember
llama.
it.
Yeah,
But this is maybe 5 years ago, and it was super difficult. I remember it took me 2 days to generate one song, bro. But when I did, I said, "Oh, this is crazy."
yeah, out of here,
I said, "Oh, this is the problem." So I
out of here.
knew then that all of this stuff was going to be, it's going to cause some issues. It's just interesting seeing how it's like all playing out, and I feel like now we're in the bashing AI part, but it's going to be a part where
Yeah,
it turns. Something's going to happen, and it's going to turn where we kind of look at it like it's not that bad.
yeah,
Kind of like with ChatGPT. I'm telling you, people looked at Chat at first was like, what is this? I would tell people about Chat and nobody would want to use it. Oracle's the only person that understood and was like, yeah, this is crazy.
dog. Shout out to us. We actually did a
Mm.
whole course.
And people thought we was crazy about
Shout
it.
out to the producer AI playbook. We put that out for Chat
Mhm.
GPT, and this is when Chat first came out. Most people didn't even know what Chat GPT was at the time, and we're like, look, we put this course out. Use these prompts. This is gonna help you. It's this new thing, Chat coming, and your grandma gonna be using it. Like everybody's
Mhm.
gonna be using it. So shout out to us for having the foresight, and still a valuable course to this day. I actually
Mhm.
used the prompt from the producer AI playbook the other day, and I was going to talk to you about we might need to do a part 2.
Oh yeah. You can do
Yeah,
that. I think now people at the time people were like, you're promoting the
right,
and now I think people were like, oh, give me the prompts. I need that. You know what I mean? Because they see
right.
how it can help there. But it gets tricky. Generative AI gets a little tricky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's different. And people applauded us too for the last episode we did, and a few people had hit me like, "Good to hear you and Triza talking about this because people know I've been in the AI for a long time,
Mhm.
and some people know you've been into it for a long time. And like y'all weren't really saying anything, so good to see that y'all were saying stuff. And they proceeded to ask me if I use generative AI,
Mhm.
and just to answer that, not yet, only because it's a rabbit hole that I know I don't have the
Yeah.
time to go down right now.
Same.
Once I get into it, I'm gonna go crazy because I'm gonna figure out
Right.
different things to do with it and different ways to use it. And I don't even want to do that right now. So when
Yeah.
when all that stuff first came out, I tried it, and of course it was trash. The output at that time was it was so trash. I'm like, I'm not even getting into this. I'll get
Right.
back to it later. Especially if it's prompt based. If it's one thing that you and I know how to do,
Yeah.
it's prompt.
Mhm.
So eventually I may get into it. But the theory on AI right now, for me at least, I use AI to do the things I don't want to do. So I have more time to do the things I do want to do. And the thing I do want to do is make and create music and sound design. So I'm not going to
Facts.
use it for that right
Right.
now. I'd rather use
Keep
it to
that.
do the things I don't want to do.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah,
It's
bro.
crazy. I feel like that's been the talk of the past couple weeks. It's just AI everything between the
Yeah,
Tim stuff and
yeah,
the Erykah Badu and just like it's
yeah.
crazy. That's where stuff is headed, man.
I don't know, man. I just feel like better rollouts, more insight, or just people. There should be stewards of people that talk about AI in a way that's easily digestible, easy to understand, easy to learn. It eases the fear of the people that are against it, and it gives guidelines to people that want to just go crazy and misuse it. And it's just like the whole educational portion is being missed. Even the people that are educating, they're educating seemingly for money. Like for, YouTube channels. Oh, use these prompts to blah, 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 blah. And a lot of that is useful. Listen, I'm not throwing rocks. We put out a prompting course years ago. So, I mean, but at the same time, we also talk about it like this on like a ground level, like
and we
the
get both
ethics of it.
sides.
Yeah,
because it is very tricky of like, I use it, but then also it's like a creator, I look at it like, like I worked in marketing. I'm looking at it like this is taking my job also.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
so as much as I used it and I was appreciative of using it, it also is taken away from me at the same time. So I'm looking at it like, I don't know how to read this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would tell people this is where branding comes in. People have been hearing about branding for a long time. Now more than ever, you need a brand. There's about to be more AI stuff online than stuff from humans. Like a million times more. The humans that stand out are going to be the ones that people like and people connect with. And that's the one thing you and I have done early on, way back, maybe 2014 to 2016. We started that whole journey. And people know who we are. And people like our brands. That is very important. And even though producers, we don't like to post content, that's a whole other topic. I would say just talk and tell people about you in one way or another. Tell people your story. Just tell people how you feel about it. We're talking about the way we feel about AI right now. You know what I mean? But this is all part of branding. People are connecting with us. They're getting to know us. So I feel like we're educating through doing the thing, but I just want to highlight that we are doing that to show people like it's not as tough as you think it is. You don't have to be Martin Scorsese to get your message out there or to get people to connect with you. And it's really, really going to matter with branding, not only because of the AI stuff, but direct to consumer is really becoming like what people are calling for in a lot of industries now. And direct to consumer is what we've been doing. But that's going to become more important. And I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but just think about it.
That's real talk. You got to stand out. I think curation and branding is like, because now the playing field is going to be a lot more even. So now it's like graphic design. Bro, have you noticed everybody uses these same chat GPT kind of flyers where it's like the same bold font? So it's like now I can't use bold fonts. I use totally different fonts because I need to stand out against that. So if I know everybody's using that, then my thing needs to look totally different. Right. So that's kind of the way I look at it. It's like I'm doing the opposite, whatever the meta is, because I need to stand out. But that's branding. That's me like looking at something and like throwing rocks and opposing that, right? And saying like, no, I stand for something a little bit different, which will make me stand out. But so people need to kind of look at that as like with the AI stuff, like, yeah, it's gonna be good and it can make stuff, but how do I make it different? How do I humanize this? How do I make something offbeat? Because then it doesn't understand that, right? So that's how you make something kind of your own.
Yeah, and you can still use it and be different, but you have to get an understanding of it because it can't be as simple as typing and do this for me, but be different from other people. Like that's not going to really cut it. You have to really be specific, and in order to be specific and provide details, you have to have knowledge of what you're talking about. That's a big theme of what we've been talking about. You have to have knowledge of what you're talking about or what you're selling. You just have to have the knowledge.
If not, people gonna see through it.
That's a fact. Faceless YouTubes and everything is gonna go crazy. In 2026, the Grammys are doing a Best Album Cover award.
Oh, that's tough. I like that actually.
Yeah, it's fine.
But here's the thing: are they gonna let AI? See, that's where it's like.
Well, I feel like they might be a bit more prepared for this because AI is such a big thing. And funny enough, it's a new category, but not really. They've way back in the day, they started something called Best Album Package, where they would kind of include the cover art and like 2 or 3 other things as the album package. But this year, and I think they might even taken that away. But anyway, this coming year, they are going to have a category strictly for best album cover. So I think that's dope, bro.
I love that.
I think that's really dope.
You know, I'm like a part-time graphic designer, creative director kind of guy. So, you know,
cold with it too.
That would be fire to win one of those. Oh, that would be tough.
Yeah. Dog, I wrote down these topics. You can tell I was passionate about that YouTube joint. I put YouTube ads as ODN dash they wildin'. I was real. Mad. They wildin', dog.
Think about the children.
What are you trying to do to me? I think we covered everything. I think I just have one. Jesus, that's loud. I just have one more question, and I'll ask you, but it's kind of a general softball question. Do you think it's more difficult to get inspired or more difficult to stay consistent?
Oh, it's way more difficult to get to stay consistent. But that's like the part where it's like, because inspiration, I feel like it comes and goes. That's like part of what inspiration is. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like you need it to go away for it to be valuable, right? You can't just be inspired all the time, or you just be
right.
You know, it's like part of that process is like going through a drought and all that, but being consistent, bro. It's so weird because it'd be moments where I'd be practicing something. Like when I was DJing, I hadn't been DJing for like a year, right? Maybe a year or two. Where I hadn't touched turntables, and then I had all these gigs. So out the blue, so I had to start practicing like every day, and I would have days where I'm like, I'm doing so terrible, but then the next day after that, I would see like a big improvement, right? And it's just the consistency, and I'm hitting plateaus, and I'm looking at it like, yeah, I'm not doing well, but it's like me working through something and learning the next little step, and then once I kind of master that, it's like, oh, I'm much better after that. So I think that's the part where it's hard, is like being consistent, doing something over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Because when you're inspired, it's easy. Like I hear a dope YouTube video, I'm ready to go make a beat, and then it's like, all right, after that, I'm like,
yeah.
All right, what's next? You know what I mean?
Dog. One of the biggest supporters of being consistent, and also one of the biggest reasons why people aren't consistent, comes with success. Being successful at something. Like, for instance, if you post something and it goes off, you're inspired to post something else. Whereas if you post something and it does nothing, it gets crickets, 0, you're not inspired to do it again because no one wants that feeling. Therefore, the consistency fades. So the last question, and I'll promise you, and this is just a big question that I feel like we need to put out there, because people kind of talk about it and they don't. What do you think, and I'll say you, because we're talking to everybody, what do you think your biggest fear is when it comes to putting out content? Because people don't do it and people are scared to do it. That's known, but nobody really has the real conversation about why you're scared to put out content.
You know, for me, and this is something because I'm dealing with this now, I think I would get caught up in the vanity metrics of like, oh, well, this only got this certain amount of views, or this got a certain amount of likes or comments, right? So I'm like, oh, it's not good. But it's almost like when you look at your analytics for a month and it says, oh, you reached 2,000 people or 20,000 people or 100,000 people. If you reach that many real people, you'd be like, oh, that's like
if
a
you
lot
could
of
see
people.
that many people in front of you.
You'd be like, oh, that's a lot of people. So when I started looking at it of like, yeah, I might get 200 on this one, and then I might get 1,000 on this one, and then I might get 5 on this one. But as the collective, I'm doing a lot of numbers over the month. So that's kind of how I changed my focus. And I feel like it's not as intimidating now as before because what messed me up, bro, is that I caught a bunch of viral ones early where it's like, I would try something and then I would catch one and I'd be like, ooh, okay. And then I would try something again and then it wouldn't work. Now I try something to catch one. And so now I'm like chasing after that, trying to catch one.
Right.
Versus just making content and not thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Right. And what's the motivation for somebody who never caught one? That's another thing I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you've always got 10 views or whatever.
Mhm.
Like it's tough to stay consistent. But usually that person hasn't branded themselves or shared any stories or done
Right.
anything like that. So it's really a big thing. I feel like and not now, but I feel like we really need to have an in-depth conversation and just a real conversation, not even necessarily providing a whole bunch of answers, but just speak to the people and be relatable about this thing, because it's like this
Right.
big cloud over the production community about having to create content to get your music heard and all of that stuff. And I don't think that people are having a real conversation about it.
Right.
And I think we might be the boys to do that.
Yes, so I
Yeah,
agree.
man. So yeah, we could do it. But I think that's enough topics on my end for the day. You got anything else?
Yeah, y'all don't know if you heard that thunder. Good gracious, that thing
Oh,
sound like Thor popped up in my backyard.
I mean, it's about to head this way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think we good. Diddy got his charges dropped. Some of
Not
them.
surprised, bro.
Yeah, they didn't do a good job of proving. I didn't understand what they were trying to prove.
Yeah, they listed what they were trying to prove, and then everything that they talked about had nothing to do with that. It was just reading a
It's
big freaking novel. This
yeah.
whole case, I didn't hear anything about trafficking. I barely heard anything about kidnapping. The arson thing was loose. I'm like, yo, prosecution, you did not do your
Right.
thing, and I'm not surprised. I tuned out. I wasn't necessarily tuned in, but in the beginning, I'm like, all right, maybe they highlighting all this freaky
Right.
stuff, and then they're gonna get into the real whatever. Never got to it, bro. Never got to it. And
Yeah.
Cassie had to be on the witness stand early because of the pregnancy. So the DV stuff, very powerful, but two things: people had already heard about it, and um, well,
It
I
doesn't
guess
play
that's
to
just
the
it.
case.
And
Right.
that's not what he was on trial for.
Right.
Nor was it being super freaky or, buying a whole bunch of baby oil. That wasn't what he was on trial for. And that seems to be all they focused on from my viewpoint. And I'm like, yo, prosecution. What we are really trying to do? Is it just really a smear campaign or
Now,
what?
I got a question for you. If he gets off, who is the first artist that you think he's gonna work with and give a record to?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, Diddy R. Kelly collab would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be so insane. And it's got to be like Not Guilty Part 2 or something. Like it's got to be something like, oh, it's got to be like, what?
And they gotta be talking to haters. All the haters. They gotta be talking to haters.
They got to get some like, who's somebody else that done did some wild stuff they could get on the track. It's got to be like it's got to be
Okay.
one of them DJ Khaled mixes, but with all the people that's on.
You know who I was gonna say they could put on there, but he kind of really don't go in, but just because of the position he's in, he does. Tory Lanez.
Oh yeah.
Only because he's in jail and he's a great singer and he can rap.
That could be crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, a song.
And they gotta do it like Trapped in the Closet, like the part 1 part. Come on,
That
dog.
song would be crazy.
Come on, dog.
Yo, and if they all was just like real on it, like talking about their personal accounts and their personal feelings.
I need money on my commissary, Sari.
What? What?
Got the echo. I'm about to shoot him because he stole my honey bun.
That's right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Real quick, I play a whole bunch of different music with my son. So one good thing is you say play upbeat music. They're gonna give you a nice upbeat summer mix. It's that song where the first line aged the worst out of any first line in the song ever. Woke up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy.
Oh yeah. You know she changed it on some
Did
of
she?
them. Yeah. And it's like she
Not on Spotify, she
disses him on the change one.
She must do that live because on Spotify she is repping.
Yeah. We need to have a conversation about how some of these songs don't age well. Because what is this song? It's one of them. They play in the club all the time. Oh, you may be young, but I hate that part. I'm like, ugh, that sounds crazy.
Oh,
that sounds insane.
Yeah, that was Uncle Keith. Oh,
yeah,
that song used to go off back in the day. Different times.
What was it? Backstage, underage. Wild thing. I was like, yeah, that is a crazy line, bro.
That whole verse was wild,
bro. And when it plays, everybody to me, it's just like I'm just kind of uncomfortable. Like, okay.
Yeah. Even though I know Ronnie DeVoe didn't write it, he had to rap it. So I know he saw it come on. He pulled his hat with his beeper on the brim down a little bit low like that.
That's when you show the splits. Like, no, that wasn't me. Second verse, that was him.
Nah, I ain't even want to do that verse.
Yeah, they made me. That was the label.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? What is it? They, they beat me while I was in church, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Yeah,
all the other songs I wrote, but that one, second one,
not that. Me and the crew used to do it.
Wow! Oh, that's crazy.
Bro, indeed.
This is something. So, dog, I was DJing, and it was like more family. And bro, certain songs, even if they're clean, they sound so sexual, bro, that it's so difficult. Perfect example: Missy Elliott, "Work It." It's such a hit, and I just didn't realize how sexual it sounds. I'm like, oh my god, this sounds so crazy.
Yeah, sex with a hint of racism.
But it's like it's a clean version, so it's just, you hear the Animal records, but me hearing it as an adult, I'm like, that's how I know I'm a dad. And I'm like, I'm over here like,
same. Yeah. Also, one of the greatest songs of our generation.
No, it go off. It's one of those songs that everybody dances to.
The song. All right, man. You ready to wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right. Listen, this has been another episode of Unquantized Podcast, and we will see you on the next one.
Peace.
Later.